Now we're live.
We'll be able to see the people file in. Hello, folks. We got a couple people in here. Early birds, welcome. Welcome to HiMama's MasterClass. We have the lovely Chris Henderson. You can see him to my left. He'll be joining us hosting today. So grab a seat, grab a drink. I've got my lovely sparkling water. It wasn't until my 30s I discovered the magic of sparkling water. So grab a drink, grab a seat, grab a snack if you want. I know it's that mid-afternoon slump, maybe lunchtime for some of you folks. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes here. And for today's HiMama Masterclass session, we will be talking all about consistent, transparent, reliable parent communication. A lot of catchy keywords in there and definitely some interesting things you don't want to miss out on. So welcome, everyone. If you want to let us know in the chat where you're from, we'd love to give you a shout out. We've got some early birds in here. So Chris, myself, and Carmen in the background, we are all coming at you live from downtown Toronto, around HiMama headquarters. Let us know in the chat where you are coming from. And if you do need to duck out a little bit early, no worries. We are going to record this session. So we'll send you the show notes and the slides, and we will have this recorded. So we will send this to you after. So if you need to duck out, we will send it off to you. I know a lot of folks are in the classroom again. So I think it was a lot of first day of school, back to school. Chris, I know you have kids. Did your kids go back to school today?
They did. They actually started last week. They're in a French board. They got a little bit of an early start. So so far, so good.
Okay, good. Fingers crossed for them. Let us know what's going on, where you're from. Are you back to school yet? How are things going? Are you open? Are you still closed? Let us know. Everyone here is a HiMama customer as well. We have Grace from Fort McMurray. Hello, Grace. How are you? Let us know where you're coming from and how things are going over on your end there. We're all customers here, so the HiMama family is here. We have some folks from Toronto, some from Massachusetts. I can never say that properly. Mansfield. It's always a mouthful for me. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes here. So if you need to run to the washroom or grab a drink, grab a snack, we'll be right here. And again, if you do need to duck out a little bit early, we're going to be recording this and we'll send you the show notes when we're done today. Lynn, welcome, Lynn. You said that you've been open for 3 weeks. So far, so good. We are crossing our fingers and toes for you. That's really great to hear. Let us know how, Lynn, let us know how things have been going. What are some things that you've been implementing into your center, to keep things going so well? We'd love to hear some of your ideas and share them with our HiMama family here. We've got about 1 more minute here until we get started. Again, today's HiMama Masterclass is all with our HiMama family, our lovely customers, and we're going to be talking with Chris Henderson here, one of our customer success managers, all about consistent, transparent, reliable parent communication. Definitely a hot topic as we go back to school and get back into the swing of things. Alrighty, so let's hop into it. It's 2 o'clock right now. Some folks are still joining us. If you do need to duck out, as I mentioned, this will be recorded and we will send it over to you after today. So all about consistent, transparent, reliable parent communication. Who are we? Let's talk about who we are. Chris, can you hand us over to the next slide, please? Mm-hmm. There we go. So we have Chris Henderson. He is in the next box to me. I've gotten so used to seeing him in a little box. I haven't seen him in the flesh since March 13th, pretty much. Chris Henderson, he is one of our customer success managers. He works with hundreds of childcare providers, and he has 2 wonderful children who he just mentioned are back in school. Chris, I'm sure you're very excited about that. And he also spent the summer rediscovering his home province of Nova Scotia. Chris, how was that?
Unbelievable. It was, I definitely got to explore places that I'd never been before. So it was a whole new take on it. And seeing it from my kids' point of view too was wonderful.
That's amazing to hear. And how much chowder did you eat?
All of it.
All of it. Okay. There's no more chowder left on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And I am your host. I'm back. I am Kaya Price, and I'm a registered early childhood educator. You may know me as Miss Kaya on social media. We have lots of different circle times on HiMama with our own fan base. And a little fun fact about me, I've actually never been out east, but I know I need to go, especially now that we're kind of confined to our home countries. I need to explore Canada a little bit, but I've visited 29 countries and counting, so hoping to get that number up one day. So we are your hosts, and also in the back we have Carmen. She is on chat. I know she's talking to a lot of our community members. There's Carmen. She is going to be in the background on the chat. If you have any questions or any issues at all, just ping her. She's right there on the chat there for you.
Here supporting you guys always.
So the MasterClass series, if you've attended one of these before, welcome back. We're so happy to have you back. If this is your first one, we are so happy to have you as well. The MasterClass is a series of 8 weekly webinars and is exclusive for HiMama customers. So everyone here is part of the HiMama family, and it's hosted by our superstar customer success team. So this week we have Chris joining us. This content is designed to help you not only learn about the new features, but to help you get the most out of your HiMama experience. If you'd like to access the full schedule of all the HiMama masterclasses, you can click the link wow.himama.com/register-masterclass. We'll leave that for you in the chat if you want to pre-sign up for some future sessions. What to expect in our masterclass series. So the slides will be shared at the end of the session. I mentioned before, if you need to duck out, no worries. I know a lot of folks are heading back into the classroom and need to get pulled into things, so we'll send those to you so you don't miss anything. Everyone will get a certificate of participation as well, and we're going to email out the recording to you tomorrow. So some question etiquette, a little bit of housekeeping. Let's go over this before we jump into things. Please don't be shy. Use that chat feature. I see it actually blowing up on my right-hand side. I'm excited to hop in and talk to some of our community members. Like I mentioned, we have Carmen over there. If you have any wonderful ideas you'd like to share, or you just have questions, something that Chris went over that you need us to repeat or maybe dive a little bit more into, we'd be more than happy to. Just pop it in the chat on your right-hand side and we will address it at the end of each section. So just to keep things relevant, we're going to have a question section at the end of each topic. If your question is more specific, support related, or maybe to your own account, we're going to connect you with the right person. We will include a link to a form that you can fill out. We'll leave that in the sticky bar in the chat. You can fill it out and we'll connect you with the right person on our HiMama team. And as I mentioned, Carmen is in there, so someone's always manning the chat. Just a bit of a disclaimer, this content is not official legal advice for your center. The goal is to share knowledge and inspire and give you ideas. Of course, each state and province has different licensing rules and regulations, so please consult with your own legal and financial advisors before implementing something that you're not 100% sure about at your center. So for today's agenda, this is my last talking bit in the beginning, I promise, and then we're going to let the lovely Chris Henderson take over. So on today's agenda, we're going to chat all about daily reports. I know a lot of folks are just getting back into the swing of things with HiMama. This is a really great refresher. The message center and SMS or text messages. We're going to talk about the activity of the day, which a lot of our customers have been really taking advantage of during COVID. A little bit about menus and calendars and contactless billing, which is all the rage, that word contactless. This is going to be a fantastic feature you don't want to miss out for your parents. We're going to chat about distance learning and as well as the HiMama Customer Care Kit, something that we developed on our team and we want to share with you to help you along the way as you reopen your center and running your center with confidence. So without further ado, Chris Henderson, welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me, everybody. I'm broadcasting from my bedroom here. Actually, a fun little story. As Kai said, we went to Nova Scotia this summer, and for 2 months I was doing my job not from this bedroom but from my childhood bedroom, and it was very comfy and cozy, except for the fact that I was using a desk that was designed more for 13-year-old me than 40-year-old me. So, but it was great. The kids got an amazing experience. You can see them here. This is us packing up the family back in June. There's all Olivier in the background and Chloe as well. We left on her 8th birthday. We hit the road to go see the grandparents, and it was just an amazing experience down there. So a little bit about me and how I got started with HiMama, and how this kind of relates to what we're talking about today. I started when Chloe was first in daycare, and I fell in love with HiMama the day that I dropped her off, and she was crying, and we're all familiar with the scenario. They're going to be fine when you leave. I said, okay, but it's really hard to believe that when you're leaving your crying child that they're going to be fine. But sure enough, 15 minutes later, I got an update. She was totally fine. And it was that relief that I felt. I was reassured, and it happened immediately and consistently from that point on. So I had to know more about this company. I've reached out, and I've worked for them for now almost 2 years, and I've just been loving it. And of course, building that relationship of trust is what the communication is all about. And now more so important than ever with COVID-19, parents are that much more apprehensive. So communication, definitely key to reassuring and bringing those apprehensive parents back into the center. When it comes to best practices, what I've found when I'm talking to all my customers is being proactive, making sure that you are setting up a regular communications, and not just when there's things to update them on a regular daily basis, but just the regular communication that comes maybe weekly, daily. Being consistent really helps reassure parents and staff as well when you communicate with them that you care and are there for them. I wanted to share a customer story. One customer has definitely stepped up and wanted to make sure that the parents were it's just become part of the routine, is to make sure that they send out a message, not just to the parents who have children in the center again, but those parents who haven't shown up. Every Friday, she sends an update of what's going on in the center, what they've been doing, share some photos, and just kind of reassure parents, their kids are safe, they're having fun, and they can rely on that message every Friday of what's going on. And it's really helped bring back those parents who are unsure if it's a good idea to bring the kids back to daycare. So that's something that really worked well for her, and something you could consider as well, a weekly update. So we're going to dive into daily reports, because that's kind of your main communication regular tool that parents and myself have come to rely on. My kids are now in daycare, are in school as of now. Olivier just started his first year, and he was so excited to get on the bus, because he's watched his sister drive away on that big yellow school bus every day for a couple of years now, and now it's finally his turn. And but all that to say, up until recently, we were getting daily reports for them in daycare, and as a parent, I really came to rely on having that every single day and knowing what went on at the daycare. So 3 reasons why the daily reports are essential at your center, because it does keep that communication alive between the parents and the center. It's that you're not just updating to keep records, but you're updating to keep the parents in the loop. Families love it. I just adore every time I get a photo. I just, it brightens my day. I'm in the middle of something, I get a little pop-up notification, boom, I get to see what's happening. Love those photos, love those videos. And, I love all the notifications. Some parents don't want that much communication. on a pop-up basis if they're busy, but that's fine. They have complete control. They can always go into their user settings and decide how much they want to have pop up on their phone. So why are the daily reports important? So as I've already said, keeping families in the know now more than ever, that's super important. As you are apart from your child, you want to know what is happening, maybe more than you ever did before at the center. So the daily reports, having those updates throughout the day, and being able to rely on the fact that at the end of the day, you're always going to have that summary of what happened. And for me, what I really liked is now I see that they're not just, being babysat. I have other families that go to centers, their children are in centers that don't have HiMama or any communication tool. They just drop off their child, they pick them up, and then as you probably know when you're trying to get an answer out of a child, how was your day today? Good. Did you play with anybody? Yeah. And, but being able to have that communication throughout the day, I can see what they did. I can see the activities they were doing, and that's a talking point. And we can even, if they're doing an activity, we can take that to the next level, and I can always extend that learning or that experience and really kind of engage with my child on a different level. And of course, that also makes me appreciate what those hardworking staff members at the daycare, those early childhood educators, are doing every day. And along with that, the development skills, I get to see if those activities are tagged with development skills, that not only they're doing activities, but they're doing age-appropriate things that are helping my child develop and be ready for the next stage, such as going to school like they are this week. And I know that they are well prepared for that. And then, of course, daily reports are great for you internally for tracking, making sure you have all the reports you need, tracking sleep, temperatures, health, all these different things right in the report section, and being able to easily reference the history that you have if you need to find a specific thing that happened or weren't sure when something went down. You always have a history, and so do your parents, of all the daily reports of every child in your center. So I'm going to take a little drink of water here. Creating a daily report is very simple. We've made it as user-friendly as possible here. This is the update screen, which I'm sure you're familiar with. But all you have to do, of course, is choose your update, select a child or select all children to easily have them all involved in that activity. And note that those camera buttons or the camera icon means that those updates will have the ability for you to add a photo or a video, which we parents, of course, love. So sending the reports, this is the communication part that's key. They will get those updates throughout the day, but for some parents, they haven't registered. They don't have HiMama on their phone, and they just want to get an email at the end of the day. Great. It's that being able to rely on that. So the best practice here is you check out the child and immediately you hit that purple send report button for the child, and then it's emailed off to the parents. Or you can use the purple send all button at the top. We also have, if you're not aware, a very handy backup feature. If you set it up in your logins and configuration, you can actually set up an auto send report, which will make sure that all children who perhaps were forgotten to have been either checked out or the report sent, this will send it out all at once to a certain time. So usually recommend about an hour after you close. And this is what the daily report would look like. For example, in an email desktop view, this is what the parents are going to be able to see. Great breakdown, easily sorted out in different colors. And of course, there's development skills there tagged as well. But they don't have to wait that long if they don't want to. At any point in the day, parents are able to just log onto their app. And that's what I always loved. If it's been a while since I got a notification, I wonder what's going on, or just want to check in, I can always open up my phone app and see a feed on the left there. You can see all the things that are going on that day with my child, and I can get a sneak preview of the report by just clicking that top right button, which makes me feel so good that I know what's happening. And don't worry, there is a little reminder at the top that it is just a preview and things could change throughout the day, but that is just this transparency that we really want to help you facilitate for your parents, knowing that they can check in, and you just have this open door, open window, basically, that you can kind of walk by, peek in, your kid's fine. That's basically how that looks in HiMama. And as mentioned before, push notifications happen throughout the day. They'll pop up on your phone. You can swipe in to see them, but if you don't want to, you can just go into your user settings as a parent and edit that so you don't get as many communications as as other people have. And the great thing about these notifications is whether you have the app open or not, as long as it's on your phone, then you will get these notices. And the daily reports, of course, will be sent to email as well. So you're well covered, and you can rest easy that the parents will get those daily reports either in the app or in their email. All right, do you want to pause here for questions?
Sure. So if you do have any questions or need Chris to go over something a little bit more in depth, please use the chat feature on your right-hand side, and we'd be happy to revisit it. Chat looks so far so good, Chris, so I guess that's a good sign. But if you do have any questions about daily reports and how to use them, please use the chat feature on your right-hand side. And without further ado, Chris, you can take it away onto the Message Center.
All right, thanks, Kaya. Yes, so the Message Center, obviously a good communication tool. Let's dive in here. What exactly is the Message Center? So it's your kind of command center. It's your hub for all communications, whether they be emails between parents and yourself, or with staff members if you have our staff management feature. We also have SMS ability. So this is where you just have a one-stop shop for all this communication, which is super handy. And when to use the Message Center? All the time. As I said, messaging, you can't communicate too much with parents. You know, keeping in touch with them, being proactive, super duper handy. That's what a lot of my customers have had the most success, especially with getting their enrollment back up, is just sending messages all the time, sending those proactive things. So for instance, I have customers who do newsletters, either weekly. More often newsletters are probably bi-weekly or even monthly, but that kind of, it is something that parents can look forward to. They can get a little update of what's going on at the center and things in the community, which is really nice. The weekly updates I mentioned earlier that my customer does regularly every Friday. She sits down and composes a message, includes a photo that shows what's going on at the center to really have that reliable communication that parents can look forward to. And what's great is now we have this new schedule send button, so you don't have to do it exactly at the same time every week. You can, whenever you have 10 minutes to compose the weekly update, you can schedule to send at the same time every week, and the parents can rely on that. And I loved getting that from my childcare, because they were really good about doing, I think it was bi-weekly updates. Daily, of course, if you have to do a health screening question, the Message Center is great for sending out your link to Google Forms. If you have any questions about that, we can definitely help you if you're interested in learning more about using Google Forms to do pre-screening questions. You can use a HiMama Message Center to send that link every day. And of course, we have the activity of the day, which we'll go into in more depth later, but it is fantastic. And it is ready to go with a couple clicks, pre-generated message, ready to send with a brand new activity every single day. And then, of course, just for everyday situations and special announcements, emergency closures, fun updates, whatever you need, it's there. You don't have to find everybody's email. It's just super quick, easy to use, and secure, which is wonderful. So this is what it looks like. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this, but on the left-hand side, you'll see the envelope. It says messaging if you have a wider view. And it kind of breaks it all down here to be easily accessed. You have your messages, you have your inbox. You can archive messages to keep things all neat and tidy. And then, of course, things are organized by the child's who you're communicating with their parents. You can see who is involved in the message. The legend at the bottom there shows you that if it has a P, it's a parent message only. P and T means that the teachers have been tagged on that, so they're going to be in that communication thread. And S just means that it's a staff member message only. And so when it comes to actually making messages, we have the compose button at the top right there. And when you click that, you'll be taken to the compose screen. And there's a number of different ways to communicate. We've tried to make this as quick and easy as possible. So of course there's individual by clicking the child button there. If you want to send just to an entire classroom, that's great. Or the entire center, super handy. It just goes out to everyone all at once. And then, of course, if you have multi-senders, you have that option. Or if you just want to send it to toddlers, you got the age group option there too. So we tried to make that as comprehensive as possible. If you do have our staff management feature, you have the next line there, which is all staff communication. So you can do individual staff members or everybody at the center. Keep in mind, the next line that says include teachers on thread, this doesn't mean that the teachers will get the message. It means that they will get tagged in any response from the parents. So you send out a message to the entire center, you click this, and then if there's any response from the parents, the teachers will then see that and become part of that communication thread. You can choose either email or SMS, and keep in mind that only emails can have attachments and only emails can have the schedule send option. And also the schedule send option is only at a director level. So more on the text messaging. SMS is more for emergency notices. There'll be going to be a big no reply in the text message, as you saw earlier on my pop-up screen grab there from my phone. Basically, it's for a one-way communication. It's something you don't want to have missed because some parents, like I said, don't have the app on their phone. They rely on email only. And with email, of course, comes the possibility that they're going to miss that email. Every time an email is sent, if they do have their app on their phone, they will get a pop-up notification. So that's really handy. So, I get a message from my daycare via email. I'm still going to get that pop-up on my phone, so I know to check either my email or check the message center, which is great. But text messages, it's for one-way, quick, we're shut down tomorrow because of weather, something like that. They're not going to be able to reply to that. If they do have to or have any questions, they can reach out via the message center separately or give you a call. All right, so 4 reasons to use the message center consistently. To lead the charge, just to show your community that you're kind of the leader, that you've got everything together, that you are reliable, you're there to support them. It just, like I said earlier, when I have other friends who have children in daycares that don't have a consistent communication tool, they're blind, really. I mean, they don't know what's going on at their center. They drop off their child, they pick them up. That's great. They were able to do work, but there's just so much that they're missing out on. They don't know what's going on there. They don't know what they're doing all day, and there's no follow-up. There's no things to talk about with your child and with the ECEs who are working hard, whether it's communicated or not. ECEs are always working super hard, so why not showcase that? Managing expectations, of course. If you create that pattern with communication with your parents and even staff, if you have that feature, it's just something that parents can come to rely on and expect. Building your brand, having that consistent messaging, even if it's just a simple update, shows that you are reliable. It's just building that cadence. You're going to kind of stand out from the crowd. And open door policy. As a parent, this is what I loved about having HiMama. I didn't have to remember the phone number. I didn't have to remember the email from my director. At any point in the day, if I wanted to ask a question, I just pick up my phone, send a message in the message center, and I know that it's going to get there, and I know that it's going to be answered quickly and securely. So more on that, the parent message center is great. That you can receive emails as parents and texts from directors and teachers. You can send message to directors or the teacher. Keep in mind that any message sent from a parent's point of view goes to the director regardless. So I can, as a parent, choose to send a message to just the director, or the director and the classroom teacher, but never just the teacher. So you're always going to have an eye on that communication that's going on at your center. Another thing I wanted to point out is that if a parent is responding or composing from their email as opposed to directly in the message center, there can be a bit of a delay. So we always recommend, if you need a message to, if a parent needs a message to go to you immediately, do use the message center. It's just a quicker turnaround on that message. So if you've ever noticed a slight delay, they said, I emailed you, why didn't you get that in time? It could be that they're using their email as opposed to using the HiMama Message Center, and that's just a quicker avenue. So I think we covered most of these already, but I'll just go through these quickly. A couple points about the Message Center. Only email messages can be scheduled, but definitely handy there. You cannot schedule a text message, and you want to keep them short. Only administrators can schedule and view scheduled messages. And, oh, this is one I haven't covered. For multi-center administrators, if you have more than one center, the message will appear to come from the one you are currently logged in from. So if it's going to many centers, keep that in mind, as someone from another center might wonder why it's coming from not their center. All right, we'll take a pause there for some water.
Chris, that was amazing. Thank you so much. Definitely some hot tips in there too about, you know, like the differences between like where you send a message and how and the timing of everything. I know you and I both were on the support team at one point a lifetime ago, it feels like, and those are definitely some questions that we used to get. So thank you so much for sharing those tips. We did have a few questions in the audience. So a couple were on daily reports and a couple were on the message center. So just circling back to the daily reports there, Chris, Nisha was wondering if you could show us again how to enter a daily report. Did one of the slides have the actions on how to do that? Maybe we could go back to that one.
There we go. Yeah, absolutely. So entering a daily report. So as soon as you check in a child, that starts their daily report. And so you don't actually have to go to their daily report to add things. What you're going to do is just go to this update screen. And every time you tag a child in an activity or an update of some sort, that will add to their daily report. It's going to send out a notification to the parents. At the same time, it's going to then be part of that daily report. And then it can be edited if need be. You can always go back to the daily report and change things on a child-by-child basis. But yeah, there's no daily report to go to add to, but in this update screen, that's where things slowly start to add throughout the day to the daily report.
Perfect. And Nisha, I can send you over a Help Center article as well that can give you a step-by-step guide there and some tips and tricks on creating daily reports. Awesome, Chris. We also had a question from Christine wondering how they could automatically send the daily reports. I think you had mentioned that, and from my understanding, that's under their logins and configurations and a couple different ways, right?
Absolutely. I don't have a screen grab of it, but this is the slide that has the tip on the bottom. So if you see just on the bottom left of the menu, there's a gears icon. That'll take you to your logins and configuration page. And if you go to center settings, there is a drop-down menu called Auto Send Reports. You set a time, and what that does is if your center closes at 6, you set it for 7, and then any daily report that wasn't sent in this screen here, if a teacher forgot to send the report, forgot to check out the child for whatever reason, that will by default send all remaining reports out at 7 p.m. and then the parents won't get that. So, but know that whether or not you have that auto send report button on, they can always go into their HiMama app at any point and see what's going on that day. But it is definitely a handy feature, logins and configuration and the center settings.
Awesome. And Christine, I will also send you a article to our Help Center about setting up that auto send for your center as well, if you're interested in that. Chris, thank you so much. Nisha had another really great question as well about sending a Google form for the screening. How would you send that through the message center? Can you go over that?
Yeah, absolutely. So once you set up the Google form, we have a great help article all about how to do that. You take the link to the Google form and you put it in a message. And what's really great is, I don't think I mentioned this actually. Let me get back to the compose screen. Yes, so on this screen here, you'll see just above the send button is a template option. And so what that does is you can set up a message one time that has the link to your Google form in it, save it as a template, and then you can just easily send that out every day. So it'll pre-compose the message for you once you choose that template. And you can even schedule send it so it goes out tomorrow morning, the next morning, the morning after that. So it's great to use the message center to send that Google form link. But keep in mind too that the link can just be reused. So a lot of my customers are sending it out once, maybe a couple times, but they just remind parents that that link can just be used over and over again. So you don't actually have to send it out every single day. The parents could bookmark that link and then they would just revisit that every day, finish the screening question, and then they'd be able to, you would see that on your end because it would feed into a Google document, a Google spreadsheet, and you can see, oh, they did answer it today. Now they can come into the center. So there is a great article. Kai will send that your way as well.
I got you. I sent the article there. That is definitely a really great feature now, especially with COVID going on, that all of our customers should really be taking advantage of. And Chris, you gave some good examples there. What are some more examples of types of messages that directors would benefit from scheduling? Are there some certain ones that directors should definitely have on their list that they should be scheduling?
Good ones are when you get into that regular cadence to have those scheduled messages at consistent, reliable times of the week. So those update messages that you want to send out are great. So, if you want to get into that routine of having that weekly message, you can definitely use the schedule message for that. But then I'm sure you can see how that would really beneficial for you on your center and what your needs are, how templating things out, and you can save as many templates as you want, could be very useful, and then scheduling those to send out in the future as well. Did you have any thoughts on what other ones might be good to schedule, Kaya?
Newsletter. When I worked in childcare, we didn't have, unfortunately, when I used HiMama, we didn't have the schedule feature. I wish we did. Schedule message feature. But we had to do the monthly newsletter. And if you can, do that newsletter when you have 5 minutes here, and here, by the end of the month, it's good to go. You can just send that out. I think keeping that monthly newsletter is a really great thing to do for a classroom and a center.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that.
Perfect. Awesome. So keep us coming with your questions, folks. Use that chat feature. Chris, I'll let you move on to the next section there. I think it's calendars and menus we're at, and I'll let you take it away from there.
All right. Thanks, Kaya. All right. So, the message center is an obvious one. Daily reports is an obvious one, a means of communication. This calendars and menus maybe are not thought of as communication tools, but I can speak from my parents' perspective. That's something that I really relied on when I was a parent. Why are they great? Is because they keep me as a parent in the loop as to what's going on with the center at a glance, without having to actually have communication, without actually having to ask or wait for a message. I can know that going into my phone or on my desktop view, hitting the calendar button will take me right there, and I can see what's going on with menus, with classroom events, with center-wide events, and also the activity planner. If you use the activity planner or thinking about taking advantage of it more, as you add activities, they're going to be on the parent's calendar to be viewed. Now, this is something that if you don't want them to see it, you can edit after the fact, but just know that that is by default. Any activity you put in is going to show up on the calendar, which I loved. I loved seeing the things that were coming up in the week ahead for my child. And so this is a quick kind of view of what it looks like. It gives the parents visibility into what's happening in your center, as I mentioned. So on the left, you have the teacher view, and this is kind of compact. Myself, my preference is to view calendar stuff on a desktop because you have the much less cramped view of it. But you can definitely see here how it would show up in a calendar, what's going on that day. So this example is Wacky Hat Day, so I can see that that's coming up, and I know to prepare a wacky hat in advance and make sure that my child isn't the one that misses out on that fun activity. And this is the mobile view over here on the right. Also, if you are doing remote learning, which we'll go into a little bit more later, this is a great place to post your weekly activities, your plans. If you are scheduling some Zoom calls, you want to give parents a good heads up on that. You'll probably also follow that up with a message from the message center with the link to your Zoom call. But this is a great place to show them the day and the time those Zoom calls are happening if you are still balancing in-class and remote learning. And menus. Menus are great. I mean, you can just post an update at the time, say what the child ate, but what's really great about adding it in advance is not only does it make posting at the time that much easier because you can just pull from the menu and just say, this is what we ate, boom, 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 but it also gives that window, that transparency to parents. And it might not be important to everybody, but to me it was, and I can assure you that there's lots of parents who nutrition is a big concern. And so I wanted to make sure that, my child isn't eating gummy bears and Kraft dinner every day. I have never talked to a customer who does that, but this is what goes through your mind if you don't know what they're eating, and you're not going to get a straight answer from your child as to what they ate. So the menus is great. You can see what's happening in advance, and then it gives parents the opportunity, if they don't like what's on the menu, then they can use the message center to send you a message and find out if there's an alternative that's possible. So again, just that transparency that really means a lot to parents is something that can be the menus can be really handy for. Ooh, okay, I'm excited for the next section, but we should pause here if there's any more questions.
Very excited for sure, Chris. That was a really great section. I think that's a feature that people should really take advantage of as well. I mean, calendars and menus sometimes get overlooked, but when I worked in childcare, sometimes children would end up having chicken for 3 meals because the calendars and menus weren't updated. So that's another really great reason to update those calendars and menus to get a variety of diets so that you're not making chicken for dinner and they had chicken for lunch. So definitely some great benefits to using that. All good so far in the chat here, Chris. We're just having some really great conversation around some of the features and the calendars. So without further ado, I'll let you take it away for your favorite part, the activity center.
Yay, activity center. I don't know if any of my customers are out there. I hope they are. Nice to see you, or nice of you to see me anyway, put a face to the name or the voice that we talk to. So hello, if you're there. Nice to see you and everybody else, of course. But hopefully you've all had a chance to take advantage of the activity center. And if you don't know what I mean by that, let me click over here. The activity center is something that we've been working on super hard at HiMama, specifically Kaya and Ria, who you may have seen from other webinars. They are our resident childhood educators, and they've been working overtime to make sure that you have these activities that you can share with your parents. Hopefully you've all seen them and been able to take advantage of them and continue to provide value to families who haven't returned to your center yet. And so the activity center itself is a hub that collects all of the daily activities that we have. And as you can see from the last point there, we do provide a new daily activity created by Kaya and Ria and the team every single day. It's pre-composed as a message, ready to send. All you have to do is choose the recipients and send it off. This is what the center looks like. So if you've been taking advantage of the daily activity and just sending it from the message, amazing. What you might not realize is that we've been collecting that, and our team has put together an amazingly easy to navigate activity center hub here. We have over 200 activities at this point. Thank you so much, Kaya. and you're able to quickly filter by development skill, by age, by theme. Super duper useful. We'll definitely share that link with you so you can take advantage of that. And the beautiful thing is, not only can you send these to parents who aren't attending the center, but it's something that you can use in your activity planning and lesson planning. So 3 reasons to use HiMama's activity database. It keeps families engaged with these easy activity instructions, learning outcomes, and what I love the most is those playful questions. In the early days when we first started using this, I'm going to be honest, I was kind of pulling my hair out. My wife and I were both working from home. It was difficult. We kind of trade off hanging out with the kids and trying to get some work done. And these were so crucial. I was able to go to the activity of the day and have some easy to follow instructions with materials that are easily found around the house. And it just really kind of made me appreciate my daycare that much more. I mean, I'm not even attending the daycare. They're not even charging me, and they're providing me with this great value. So that was super useful for keeping kids engaged. It has the development skills tagged there, and then those questions, which I love to follow up with them on, ask them those questions, and so they're not just doing mindless busy work, they're actually getting to think about what's going on in these activities. So they're fantastic, and it really helps you kind of stand out from the crowd and support as well as they're trying to come up with activities to do in the classroom. We've got your back there, and so please do take advantage of all of that, and continue to send those out to parents. Even there's no reason not to. They're pre-composed every day. You can just go in, click, send, whether they use them or not. Like maybe one day something's really going to pop out at them, and you're being you're communicating with them regularly. Even if you don't have anything to say, you can send out this message and it shows that you care, and that's huge. So remote learning, I'm not sure if any of you are doing the remote learning thing anymore, if you're back in with children, if you're trying to do a balance of live and remote learning. Some of my customers are taking advantage of being able to send a message with a Zoom link right in the HiMama Message Center. Like I said before, using the calendar to show when these live streams are going to happen. And when we were in Nova Scotia, for instance, my kids were able to see, they get a message saying we're going to be doing a Zoom call. Oh, that's great. We're provinces away, but we can still kind of dial in, see some familiar faces, be involved. And that kind of also gave my parents a little bit of a break because, they were tired and they were quite exhausted. They were sad to see us go, but they also said they didn't move for 2 days after we left because, it's hard to run after a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old when you are in your 70s. So anyway, that was a great thing to do remotely, whether you, like I said, are doing a little bit of a balance of both. It's something to consider, put together a Zoom call and just live stream what's going on in the classroom. And of course, a lot of the activities, if you're doing an activity from our activity center, a lot of them are based around things and materials around the house. So that should be something that's kind of easy to set up on their end. And this is something else that some of my customers were doing, which really kind of wowed me at how much they kind of stepped up, and that's the busy bags. They would put together the materials from some of the activities and have them available to be picked up once a week, and then for the week ahead, like on a Friday, they would be able to get the busy bag, and then for the activities for the following week. So that was a really cool kind of step up that some of my customers did. And that's it for the main thing there, but I'd be happy to stick around for questions and comments.
Thank you, Chris, so much. Now I know why the Activity Center was your favorite. Yeah, Rhea and I have been very busy with not only coming up with the content of these activities, but executing them through photos and videos. So it's definitely a lot of fun to play around with them. I want to give you this moment a shout out to Aliana. I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome. I think you mentioned you were one of Chris's customers, so let us know what center you're coming from. Chris says hello. He's giving you 2 waving hands there. And you also mentioned that you're using this activity feature during the COVID shutdown, and that's amazing to hear. And we also had a question from Kadisha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right as well. I'm loving these beautiful names. You were asking, are you able to access the activity feature for staff if they're back in the center, or is it strictly for remote learning? And it absolutely can be used for in the center, remote learning, hybrid. It's also a really great resource for educators as well. I mean, speaking candidly firsthand here, when I was in the classroom, I was, getting like burnt out and these ideas, it was hard to come up with. So this is a really great place to send your educators for wonderful ideas. I mean, Pinterest is our best friend, of course, but this is a really great way to have HiMama easily implement the learning and developmental outcomes in one easy to access place, that activity hub. So that's amazing. And I'm just reading a shout out here from Heather. Heather, you said the activity center is a great way to extend the learning from childcare to home. Activities we can't do here for licensing doesn't allow balloons, for example, but I can send that idea home for parents to do with their children. That is an amazing point and exactly what we had in mind when we were building out these activities. So thank you so much for that lovely feedback. Keep the comments and questions coming. Again, this is all HiMama community customers here. So if you have any comments or questions about what Chris went over today, we would be more than happy to jump back in. We are just wrapping up here, Chris. I believe we're on the last of the slides here.
Yeah.
The customer care kit. So this is a wonderful resource that we've created about running your center with confidence. It's not only back to school season. Centers are reopening from COVID. Even if you've, been open this whole entire time, or maybe you're opening a brand new center, we're still having lots of new customers that are opening their center. This is like the holy grail book that you need to download, to look at. It's 40 pages filled with checklists. Who doesn't love a good checklist? Templates and product walkthroughs as well. It is literally everything you need to run your center with confidence. You're a HiMama customer. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. We want to make sure you're excelling. We know it's been a very, very tough few months, and who knows what's going to happen in the future, but HiMama is here with you every step of the way. It was developed by Rhea Simon. She's one of our other early childhood educators on the team as well. And we're going to keep this updated and relevant. We've already been talking about different issues and different volumes to make sure everyone's all on the same page there. We can give you a little sneak peek on the next slide here. It is not only gorgeous, it is so easy to read and very nicely laid out. So this is going to be included in the show notes as well. So download it, take a look at it. It's going to be an awesome, awesome resource. Certificate and slides. So if you look into the file section on your right-hand side, on the side panel, you can download the slides and the certificates. And of course, we'll be emailing the certificates to everyone as well. So check your inbox. It's going to be titled Your Webinar Certificate. So look for that in your inbox. All you need to do is fill out your name and your center name information. And you can do this using a PDF form filler, or you can print it out and fill it out manually. So same bat time, same bat place next week. So we have the lovely Kate Caplia. She just got back from Paris. Like, what a wonderful, amazing life. She's going to be joining us next Tuesday, September 22nd, 2 o'clock Eastern time. She's going to be talking all about developmental assessments. Something here that we have at HiMama is the ounce and work sampling scale. So some of our Pearson customers on here, if you have the Pearson extension, this is going to be a really great webinar for you to attend to learn how to use this to its fullest potential. If you're interested in implementing something a little bit more than your standard state framework, this is going to be another really great resource for you to attend as well. We're going to be going over best practices for observations and assessments. And it's going to be great for educators in the classroom as well. I mean, they're the ones on the front line. So if you do have any educators who are able to pop in, sign them up for this webinar. We do send out the notes after as well. So anyone who can attend, we can send this off to them. And of course, you'll get a certificate. So register HiMama.com, wow.himama.com/register-masterclass. We'll leave that up for you there to sign up.
Right.
And keep the conversation going. Connect with us in our community. So we are available on Facebook. Just search HiMama. We have lots of great activities and resources on there, as well as Instagram. You can find lots of classroom resources and activity ideas. So everything that we've taken in the activity database, we put these on these 2 social media profiles as well. So these are great to add to your own Facebook or Instagram for professional networking, for your parents, if your center has its own Facebook or Instagram. And of course, every educator's favorite tool, Pinterest. We're on there as well, having our activity database. And HiMama.com is the home of the activity database. There's our blog and product information and resources in there as well. And from all of us here at HiMama, we are all in this together. We want to send a special mention out to all of our West Coast friends, BC, California, Alberta. We know that there's a lot of wildfires going on right now. I was just mentioning to my team earlier today, I looked up in the sky this morning in Toronto and saw the haze. It's made its way over here. It's mind-blowing. It's wild. And we're really, really thinking of you. And we hope everyone is staying safe, staying healthy, especially with those wildfires. Take care of each other. And thank you all so much for spending your time with us. We really, truly appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.